the Vindy and the Vexor Navies. But it looks like a Kitsune has already gone pop.
Yeah, Almost Awesome is not having a really good time. You see the jam effects on the Almost Awesome team. Those are actually ECM drones from the Sleipnirs on the No Holds Barred side. So they might not be jammed. Either way, Torin Torres is getting melted in his Vindicator.
Wow, that Vindy is not tanking well at all. Looks like the Guardian is getting muted and webbed, so it's having trouble doing reps. And another Kitsune goes down for Almost Awesome. Looks like No Hold Barred is taking a lot of damage on Barak in the Sleipnir, but he's doing his best to tank. He's holding on tooth and nail.
Yeah, this is not going to be good. The Vindy goes down for Almost Awesome, and I'm pretty sure they're gone right now. So these Jags on the No Holds Barred side are actually being really, really good. They are fighting a different fight away from the main action. They're killing all of the Kitsunes that were causing like a really huge issue, and those three Kitsunes died. At the same time, that one Vindy from Almost Awesome died. So really good coordination, doing two things at once. Multitasking, really good. It's different than splitting fire, but multitasking is strong. Meanwhile, Rowena in the Balgorn, he's basically dead, and No Holds Barred are just wiping the floor.
Absolutely, it is a giant credit to the No Holds Barred team that they landed on 0 with a Balgorn and a Vindicator with 3 jammers on the field, and they haven't lost a ship this match.
Yeah, though, I mean, the Sleipnirs wanted to be at 0 on that Vindy too. It's interesting that No Holds Barred just did not care about the Guardian at all, and they had so much DPS and they were so convinced about their attack bar that they just plowed through 2 really bulky battleships. It's not something you generally see all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Balgorn and the Vindy is they do have T1 resist. So while they've got a great amount of EHP to kind of catch reps in the first place, holding them is, you know, just the same as holding them on any of their T1 hull, realistically.
Yep, so I think this is one of the most one-sided matches I've seen, at least today. This is just a complete stomping.
Yeah,
Almost Awesome. Maybe the Kitsunes, they just, I don't know, they didn't have enough luck with them. Like, what do you think? How would you change this Almost Awesome setup to against this No Holds Barred team? I mean, obviously they had no idea what they were facing, but let's pretend you do.
I think that I honestly I don't like the triple Kitsune. I think that you know, damps are more reliable. As we always say, ECM jamming is based on a random number variable, and teams who have participated in the AT for a long time, you know, like your PLs, like your Hydras, they remember those days. They always fit those ECM slots. Some of the newer teams do forget, but it looks like, you know, No Holds Bars, I don't know if they have ECM modules fitted, but they, you know, they had a good comp. Like those Jaguars, those Vexors with the light drones, they were able to, you know, really destroy those Kitsunes. So I think something else there. And they're also very top heavy, Almost Awesome. You know, they've got Balgorn Vindy, then the Vexor Navies. That's really not much left for them.
Yeah, but that's all she wrote for this one. No Holds Barred advances. Almost Awesome is eliminated, and we will send it back to the desk.
Back to the desk. Please. Welcome back to the desk. I'm CCP Gargant, joined by Bacchanalian and Sir Squeeples and CCP Fossey.
There we go.
Discussing this first wipe match of the day.
You know what happens when I say, hey guys, powered battleships are a bad idea, and you bring powered battleships?
Yeah, you called it.
What's with the Guardians? Like,
I don't know. I'm starting to freak out thinking maybe I missed something.
There's a couple of nice things you can do with Guardians. You can do a cap transfer with one of those ships. Like they might have, like it could be with almost any of them you can do a cap transfer. So some people plan around that, but in general you're almost always better off with the Aneros. Yeah.
And even, I mean, in that setup they did have the Balgorn, which hypothetically you could be fueling, but I've never seen them do it. I kept looking for it and I never saw anybody actually transfer, so it's a little strange to me. And of course there's the higher level mentality about sensor strength and trying to maximize the number of ships you have on field of a single sensor type to counter ECM, but
They had
that
plenty of
wasn't really
Glen
the
ships
case.
too, yeah, so there was no real advantage there.
It's just
yeah.
strange. I don't understand the Guardian, and I think the team that they fielded was specifically to kill the Tinker that they saw from NoHo in the previous week. Didn't work out, as it turns out, so...
The like joke about, hey, maybe they'll bring all ECM, and then they bring the triple Kitsune. It's maybe like it might just be that they expected them to bring exactly the same setup, but expecting your opponent to bring the exact setup that they just lost with again, and not even update it at all,
and to bring it into
not
the
plug
losers
the hole
bracket.
that like everyone knows that they
This
had there.
turned out to be a comedy that wrote itself.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot we need to discuss more about this match, so let's move on to the next one. As I mark a really frowny X here, because I'm really far off my game after the break. Next up, we have Monkeys with Guns Dot versus Agony Empire.
I really love Monkeys with Guns in this tournament. They have been bringing really fun setups. They brought the crazy Glente all blaster team the first weekend. Then they brought, I think it was like a Sleipnir team in the second weekend. They've been bringing setups that get stuff done fast. And even though they lost that first match, they've been piloting it well. The other thing that brings really close to my heart is that they tried to bring Police Comets in the first weekend, which is, I love that ship so much, I love that skin so much. It turns out we had a technical issue with them, so we like made them change them into normal Comets.
Because we hate fun.
Yeah, but we fixed it now, so they can bring them. So and maybe like they'll bring them, and then they'll just pull over the other team and win.
I think the only thing that's keeping them from winning the tournament is the fact that they can only bring 3 Thoraxes. If they were allowed to bring the full team, I think they'd have it.
That's a. We might take that into advantage.
I
You never know.
asked earlier before I came over, and they said no, for no team will we make them.
12
We have a couple of fans of the full Thorax team
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're into the Galenti RP. They're committed, these guys. So I like them. I like them a lot.
For anyone that's not familiar, they are Galente Factional Warfare pilots. So
Oh,
yeah,
boy, are they.
they are really, really into that, and they have a good time with it.
Yeah. Whereas Agony Empire, not so much into the Galenti RP, but also a really, really good team.
Yes.
And not only a really good team, but a really good group with a lot of history and a lot of really cool content over the past few years. So
Yeah, I've loved Agony in the tournament for a long time, and of course their match last weekend was one of those classic matches with RVB, where it went, like actually went into overtime for just a few seconds. We're that close.
yeah.
One of the most exciting matches we've had in the Alliance tournament
That
ever,
was-
I would say.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I was like actually legitimately yelling at my computer. I was really yelling at my computer.
So, Monkeys with Guns Dot have banned out the EOS and the Guardian, getting rid of that ship that you guys don't understand.
They're like, all right, if you want to bring armor, you're going to bring it properly into the
And Agony banned out the Sleipnir and the Rattlesnake.
Okay, they're trying to avoid the Sleipnir kind of setup that they brought last weekend, and then probably just general Rattlesnake shenanigans, which are always going to be pretty common. I'm kind of surprised they didn't ban out the Police Comet.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's it.
that would have been a
That would
targeted
have
ban.
crippled Monkeys with Guns.
An insult to injury, if you say. But this also leaves the Larry open.
Yes.
Yes.
It does.
So the Gila is now like free for anybody to bring.
Right. And if I'm not a complete idiot, that means that we'll see at least one of these teams with shield command ships and Gilas.
So now we're not going to see teams with shield commission.
Well, if he started it, I'll say something wrong this time, and then we'll move down the line. So start thinking about what you want to be wrong about next match.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've been saying wrong stuff the entire day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Minmatar command ships with healers is still very open because you can pretty easily dodge that Sleipnir ban by going with claymores. They're a little bit weaker at killing small ships, but they've got their own strengths as well. So there's been a lot of teams that in the past have just swapped those out when there's a ban. So it's very possible we could see something like that.
The match is ready, and if it's a fast one, we might be able to go back on schedule, and then we get to talk more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like
So
talking.
everybody, pray for that.
And tell bad stories. So.
Negative Waves Alliance.
Welcome to Wormhole Space, man. We be flying tech trees and smoking them trees. This Avowed Alliance represented by Pandora Spear and Viper Fleet Inc.
Spaceship friends, welcome back to AT12 Monkeys with Guns versus Agony Empire with me, Apothony, sat here next to Elise Randolph. We have a really cool matchup for you now. We have a really cool kind of off-the-wall Tinker from Monkeys with Guns. Back will be so pleased. We have them bringing a Golem, Loki, Vulture with triple Ishtar. Those shield Ishtars can do an insane amount of DPS. Then Elise, tell us a bit about the Agony Galente team.
Agony went with a Proteus Navy Vexor core with a few damps. Interestingly enough, they had the Guardian band, but instead of taking Onirios, they just took the Navitas. They took 2 Navitas, so no proper armor logi for Squeebles. And here we have the action going on. Agony Empire is... looks like they're charging in a little bit.
Yeah, looks like we have a TP going onto Charlie's Ishtar. They're going to try and break an Ishtar first. And it looks like Monkey with Guns are going to retaliate by going for that Navitas. Dropping immediately volley through shield. Is its armor going to be able to hold with those Ishtars? I think they may just volley it if they can get that tracking.
Yeah, Ollie Geist in that Navitas is kind of dropping a little bit, but...
Whoa! Charlie's Ishtar exploding out of nowhere. What was that?
Yeah, Monkeys with Guns Loki is kind of breaking a little bit. The Ishtars really did not want to see this much DPS from the Agony team. These Blaster Proteuses are all up in Monkeys with Guns business. And this Tinker Loki can't keep up.
I mean, I have to say, like, the Loki can, again, lock only 5 targets. It has 6 things it needs to rep, so I think the scan res damp meant it couldn't lock the Ishtar in time. But now the second Ishtar, which is receiving half reps, looks like Agony fainted shooting Elijah, and now their second Ishtar is down. Back is going to be so pleased. This is a Tinker dying horribly.
Yeah, there's nothing more painful to watch than a Tinker that doesn't really have the right setups going on. So Monkeys with Guns, kind of... getting melted here.
Another Ishtar holding better than his
time.
brethren under full rep, but like just, you know, going down. But like Agony have just played this absolutely beautifully with the mixing damps, with the fake target calling. Like Agony are one of those teams that apparently, like Hydra, like PL, really know what you need to do to break a Tinker.
Yeah, Agony are actually a really quality team. I think they're one of the top teams in the losers bracket. I would be very frightened to face them if I were in the losers bracket. Showing a lot of chops here. They've got such a high DPS team because they spent all of their points for their Logi. Instead of a Onirios, they went with a Navitas, or a twin Navitas. That frees up a lot of points just for pure deeps.
Look at that Vulture. That Vulture was not receiving reps at any point. I'm beginning to wonder if a bump did occur. I didn't manage to see it on the screen.
There is no bumperino, but it looks like just the Loki may have just given up. Like, it's all over. This Golem couldn't break anything.
I mean, look, the Vexor Navies and the Vexor themselves, they've got spare highs. That's probably where the Newt's coming from on the Golem. That Golem is not going to last long at all. Probably, you know, ASB charges, but that as soon as those cap runs out, it's going to have no cap. It's already losing, you know, the last bit of its shield, and this is an insanely quick match, just as Gargant wanted.
Yep. Man, Agony is doing a really good job here. Like, you've got to be afraid if you meet Agony now. They've shown a few different setups and different ways they can beat you, and I don't know, this is really convincing.
Who did Agony lose to? Because whoever it was, they scare me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was more of a fluke bad setup thing, but with that, the match is over. Agony wins. Monkeys with Guns is completely out of the tournament. We'll see them next year, and back to you guys.
Welcome back to us, guys. That was amazing.
Yes.
Who gave those monkeys executive decision-making rights on their team competition?
I mean, the comp wasn't actually that bad of one, but Agony just executed really well. Like that Tinker, you'd probably be better off with a Tengu instead of a Loki in general. Definitely would have helped against the blaster damage because of the resists. But against that much DPS, Agony just brought out a super high DPS Galente Blaster team and beat our super high DPS Galente Blaster enthusiasts with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the unfortunate part of that is not only did they lose the match, but I think now contractually they have to leave Galente Faction Warfare.
They have to actually join Caldari
So
FW.
going to be a lot of people looking for a new court.
I like the way you described it while we were watching the match. Was that it was like Agony tore their arm off and beat them to death with it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really, really sad to say that we were actually going to give out a medal to the whole Galente Faction Warfare people that won the Warzone, but after that we can't. I'm sorry. But Monkeys with Guns lost it for you guys. We really can't now. That's just disappointing. Yeah.
Black sheep, they affect everybody. I want to, though, because we forgot to say our predictions for that match. I predicted Agony, so I'm good on that.
I was going with Agony as well. So.
I also predicted Agony.
I predicted Monkeys with Guns, and
So either we're all better predicting, or you're the only honest one.
I'm not going to emotionally
you need to put a
recover
big X
until the
next to
latter
that,
part
or-
of the day.
No, you put in a big X.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Tradition is
It
upheld.
felt good.
Yeah, I bet.
So Agony now advances to meet the winner of the next match tomorrow.
And that's not going to be an easy match.
No, either Triumvirate Dot or Surely You're Joking.
Yeah, but if I was, like, honestly, Agony, I think, is the favorite against either of those two
Yeah.
teams. Agony, like, the only loss they've had was that incredibly close match that we talked about before with RVB. They've been solid tournament performers for a long time, and this tournament's no exception.
Yeah, and that match was definitely no exception. That was really cool to watch.
If I remember correctly, last year they only lost to PL and Hydra or something like that. Like, it was...
Really?
It was to...
Yeah,
it was like it was to some top teams. It might have been like PL Ronin or something like that. But it was some of these like teams that went really deep are the only teams that beat them.
Well, and the best part about it is it put us back on schedule.
Yes.
I think we're officially
Yeah.
right on
Yeah.
schedule now.
Thank you very much for that. Agony.
Thank you
I
very
appreciate
much.
that.
Let's move on. So the next match is the last match of the
Yes.
like I
Yes,
say,
it is.
English is a very difficult language when I want to do all my and sounds that
Says
you guys
the man
can't.
who speaks Icelandic.
Yeah.
Like, it's notoriously the hardest language on earth to learn, pretty much.
Yes, your English is slightly better than my Icelandic.
Can you smell my smug?
Yeah.
So this is the last match of the elimination bracket. So Monkeys with Guns go home, and the loser of the next match will as well. I marked. Wait, okay. Let's go with bans first. Let's do this in the correct order. We're slowly compartmentalizing.
By the end of the day,
everything
you'll
out.
have this down.
Hopefully. Let's hope. Triumvirate have banned the Armageddon and the Rattlesnake, and Surely You're Joking got rid of the Eos and Ishtar.
All just really common ships to face.
But the Larry is open.
The Larry is again open, and I mean,
And you know what else is open? Tinker.
So are Navy Dominic's if we're just throwing out bad ideas.
so our Nightmares and Foons.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm all about the foons. Maybe
Yeah.
it would be a foon tinker.
I'm not all about the Foons. I think I made that quite clear with one weekend that we were talking. I'm really not about the Foons.
I actually think Foons can be legit. Foons or CNRs are both like legit ships.
We got nothing on the state radio.
Yeah, nothing on State Raven, yes.
Which we will unfortunately never see now.
No,
because,
Razor's moved on.
Razor
so Razor
moved
can
on.
still
Oh,
bring
that's
him.
right. I was wrong.
And I'm sure they will.
I'm positive,
yeah.
yeah. There's no way that they
definitely
submitted
gonna
that flagship as a joke.
Their honor is on the line. But I went with Triumvirate. Surely You're Joking did not convince me last weekend, and I have a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to go with Triumvirate, but then I saw that ad that they're playing,
Yeah.
and they pulled up a sniper rifle and things exploded, so I'm going to go with them.
Easy sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm also going to go with Tri. I think Surely You're Joking has some other practice partners, like Easily Excited is a group they fly with all the time, and easily impressed me with their variety a little bit, but still Tri is I think, the stronger team overall.
I think surely you're joking, take it.
Surely You're Joking.
No, I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
But I mean, there always has to be one, right?
Pun or?
Both.
Yeah, okay.
But what do you guys think we can expect from these teams?
It's going to be hard to say. Tri has been, they've been pretty solid in this tournament so far. And of course, they had a lot of members who were part of good Neo teams in the last Neo as well, which is part of why I think people were expecting good things from this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're up against the wall at this point. They need to be bringing out stuff that's really good. So whatever it is, it's going to be something they're confident in.
And their first round pairing was Hydra, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to say it because all things are possible, but that's a tough place to be. I mean, you're up against arguably like the best, if not one of the best teams in the tournament going in. And they actually were expected to be really competitive. And they did a nice job. So just the fact that people went in a little skeptical, like, I don't know if Hydra will win, should mean a lot to them because they were up against tough odds. So hopefully they get more time because being that first match pairing is pretty brutal.
We'll see. People tend to be wrong, and teams tend to prove people wrong too. Just thinking Tri was good. I mean, not to call out Elise, but looking at Pandemic Legion, everyone expected them to mop the floor with whoever they fought, and they barely eked out wins. So you never know. I don't go with public opinion is not always correct.
I have a theory on that though. I think Pandemic Legion are going to win the tournament and lose as many ships as possible in the meantime. That seems to be the tactic they're taking.
I thought that was Quebec's plan, was to accrue as many billions of Islost in Jove space as anyone has ever done. And they got close.
That's tough to compete with.
Yeah, but they got
close. We've seen the Impoc died in Jove space, and like Atanas and Adrestias and Utus.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Don't quench the dream, Fossey. Come on.
I know that just
No, it can still happen. I think if anyone's going to break that record, it's probably going to be Hydra or PL though, because they're the people that'll be just like throwing a bunch of Adrestias into a team and losing them all.
And man, won't that be terrible for us to commentate over top of?
Or it could be Razor. You never know.
I hope so. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah. Other than that, being on schedule means we can actually go in some of the finer details that were added into the camera client, which I've been wanting to talk about for the entire day. So CCP Veritas is a space wizard. Everybody knows that. He added for this weekend a little tiny sliver health bars below the bracket names of each target on the field. And each time they take damage, these health bars come up, and then they fade away after 12 seconds or so when they don't take damage. But if you go below 20% armor, they stay up.
I think it's half armor.
Is it half armor?
Yeah. Or if you're below half structure as well. So if you rep your armor up but you're low structure, then that also...
it'll stay up.
Yeah. But it's a great way of letting people know not only just like who's taking damage, but also it means that you don't have to be using the fancy UI at the bottom of the screen to get your information about the actual health of these ships. You can make the connection more easily between what you're seeing and what the health is.
Yeah. And Fossey was not just calling it fancy because it is, it's called fancy. That's the name of the fancy. Of the UI.
Really?
Oh, he didn't even tell us that.
That's
but
fancy.
now, the match
we
is
name our UIs greatly.
Yes, we do. The match is ready, however. So let's just go into it. We've done predictions. So we're all good. Over to you guys.
All right, welcome back to the Day 5 of the Alliance Tournament. This is the last match of the losers bracket for today. I am Elise Randolph, joined by Apothony, and we've got some interesting setups here.
We do. We have from Tarnver a slight variation on the Minmatar Gila team in that they've gone very, very damp heavy. They've got 3 Hull Mullers to damp the enemy team, and I do think that's going to be quite effective against the Shulia Joking team, who have brought 3 Navy Ravens, supported by a Scimitar, an Orthrus, a Kerry's Daredevil, and a Vigil.
Yeah, this is probably the last setup that Surely You're Joking wanted to see. This tri-team that is a team we've seen before. It's something that Hydra and Exodus fielded in last year's Alliance tournament, even in some of the finals. And this one went crazy damp heavy. Look at that control bar, and it's all applied.
Yeah.
Surely You're Joking is going to have a really difficult time trying to apply any of this Navy Raven damage. And as we see, the tri-team is sort of just posturing around a little bit. They're going to throw their drones out shortly. Maybe they're going to try and blink on top of the team because they're not rushing very far.
We can only assume that Tigaunt's Maulus is some kind of historied hero Maulus, given that it's in half armor. It has seen battle before and it is coming out again. It is the veteran of the team. We do have the damp spread, not as well as I would expect from the tri-team. They're missing a damp on Larsen's Navy Raven, and we're still looking for both teams to try and apply damage. We do have a TP going on Starfleet Commander Simi, but we're yet to see damage applied to it.
Yeah, it looks like Kakarot in the Orthrus is tackled. He didn't really move too much, so he's going to be the first target from the tri-team, and he is going to melt pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Looks like Surely You're Joking are trying to get some DPS on Upo's Merlin, but it's doing fine. Now the Sleipnir's taking damage, possibly a fake out to get the Simi going, but the Simi hasn't got any damp supplied to it. It catches the Sleipnir, no problem whatsoever. The Merlin is now webbed, so it's going to be easy to kill. And that Orthrus, really, as you know, is just really great at annihilating frigate support.
Yeah, but he's getting super mega dunked right now. Meanwhile, Ugly Eric in the Sleipnir, who was the Surely You're Joking primary, is actually pulled range, and he is outside of their range, so he cannot be locked or anything like that. He's not taking damage, or at least not much damage. Only one of the Ravens is shooting him.
Yeah, well, it looks like all the damps have been taken off the Navy Ravens. They're being focused on the Simi and the Carries. That Simi is going to have a horrible time locking the Navy Ravens. Thankfully, due to their giant SIG, it's not going to be as bad as it might possibly be. But with a Daredevil down, the Indigo down, Triumvir are really burning through the Surely You're Joking support with great speed.
Yeah, that's actually a really neat tactic that we see sometimes. You damp the DPS ships, and the Scimitar thinks like, oh, I'm not going to get damped. I'm going to pull range a little bit. And then you quickly throw the damps back into the Scimitar and just murder all the support. So Daredevil down, Carries is probably going to go down shortly.
Yeah.
Vigil down. Surely You're Joking, they had issues with their Ishkar, so it never made it to the arena, so kind of came a little bit crippled.
The Surely You're Joking team kind of have a simple idea, but it really relies really hard on those support ships. You know, the Sleipnir Gila team are very fast. The Navy Raven, to apply their damage, they need that bonus freight from the Vigil. They need that web from the Daredevil to apply their maximum potential damage, and you know, it's just not going to happen with those things off the field.
Yeah, John Churchill in the Surely You're Joking Scimitar is like super tackled. He's going to melt real quick here.
Goodbye, Sweet Prince.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? The Surely You're Joking team, they can project damage across the arena really well. They're undermanned, but and they have one Karis and one Vigil.
Yeah.
Kind of a strange combination, I'd say. So the thing that they did not want to see was just super damps.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Tri brought. Tri brought the Moluses, really good at damping things. You have to assume that these